don't want to believe in any God that doesn't have a wife. That just don't make any sense. You mean to tell me every culture, every chief god, every high god has a wife, has a divine feminine, has a woman by his side, and your God doesn't? That's a little sus. I'm just saying, that's a little sus. You never ask the question, like, why does Yahweh not have a wife? And Yahweh does have a wife. When you really study the Canaanite gods, Yahweh's wife is Asherah. But she's not talked about. She's discarded. She's cast to the side. Even when dealing with the Holy Trinity, they have taken out the Divine Mother and replaced it with a spook. The Divine Mother is the hidden one, when dealing with the left-hand path. But on another spectrum, on a surface level, is unrecognizable. There's no respect for the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is casted off of her throne, and it's always about the Father.
What a joke, man. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, HaKodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. Now, I didn't actually finish. The brother shared that a few days ago. I didn't actually finish the whole video. I just clicked off once I heard him say some BS. Because we've seen his face before. He did another video saying that the Most High ain't right because he put us in slavery. So he's a non-believer. He's just, this is the day and age now where a nigga can just get on the internet and talk and have a platform. So the nigga think he's saying something smart. He think he got knowledge, and he's not going to be corrected. He's not going to be, reproved. He's just going to speak his mind because he can. It's the internet. That's the day and age we live in. Fucking TikTok. And all it takes is somebody who can edit videos and just speak. And that's the shit, the folly that they throw out there in the world. So, he's a simpleton. He's void of knowledge, void of understanding. He's on his own self-knowledge research tip. And as you can see, he has the Queen of Heaven spirit on him. Now, the Queen of Heaven spirit, it's funny because you heard what he said, right? When he said Ashtoreth, which I didn't know he was going to say, which was I was going to mention. He said Ashtoreth is not mentioned. She's discarded. Yeah, because she doesn't exist. She don't exist. It's not real. This is that Queen of Heaven spirit that's heavy on Israel, and it's probably one of the strongest spirits, the strongest alluring spirits, the strongest demons out there on men. Because in general, like even if you take Israelites, right, the reason certain Israelite groups have a problem with Great Millstone is because of women. If you was to ask them, what's your problem with Great Millstone? They're going to say because of women. That's what the bottom line. Because they still have that Queen of Heaven spirit in them as well. So if you go to Jeremiah, and what you find out is the Queen of Heaven spirit, it all goes back to the same false god, which is Ashtoreth. Even if you look up other female gods in the scriptures, right? Or even today, like there's a guy called, let me see if I recall correct, like Ishtar, which means star. And there's some other ones, I forget, but we did the research before because we did a classes on it. But it all goes back to the same old god. There's no like multiple female goddesses that people worship. Every story of paganism, when it's passed down, is always referring to that Queen of Heaven spirit, the Ashtoreth. That's what it goes back to, which is a pagan god set up, I believe it was by the Hamites from the Canaanites. Yep, because he even mentioned the Canaanites. And they established a woman as a god, and they called her Ashtoreth, which doesn't exist. So every other woman god that the Babylonians had, the Medo-Persians had, or the Greeks had, or even today they have, it really just goes back to the same spirit, which is the Queen of Heaven spirit, which is a false idol. And it's heavy amongst our people today, especially the men. This is Jeremiah. It's just hilarious. He literally said, I don't want to worship no god that doesn't have a wife. Wow, bro. Wow. Look, the Most High and His Son, man. They have no need of anything. And no, there is no woman in the kingdom of heaven calling any, shall I say, there's no woman in the spiritual realm calling any shots. Right? You read the scriptures, you got the Heavenly Father, and you got the Son, and you got the angels, and the angels are all men. Ain't no woman in the spiritual world calling any shots, period. And that's why a clown like that, they get mad. What are women at? This is Jeremiah 44, verse 15. This is dealing with Israel, right? Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord Yahweh, we will not hearken unto thee. And notice it said, and all the men that knew their wives, because men are weak to women, right? So naturally, what men do and what people do in general is they take the things that they love and they want to elevate them above than what they are. You got people who look at dogs as gods. Like you got a lot of bugged out people who look at dogs and cats as gods. And because they like them and they love them, so they have to be special, they have to be gods. But if those animals could talk, they'll look at you like, the hell's wrong with you? What the hell's your problem? I'm just a creation. I'm just a cat, man. I'm just a dog. A dog, you love a dog, you care for a dog, you treat the dog right. If you treat you right, of course. But you don't elevate it above what it is. But that's what men do. That's why idolatry is so heavy in Israel. You could say the other nations in general, but in Israel, because what Israel wants to do is take something that they love and adore for and elevate it to be a god. And the woman is going to be the number one on it because men are weak to women. That's why I said even those men who neutered their wives worship the Queen of Heaven, which doesn't exist. What did they do? To please their wife, because they don't want to upset their wife, they went ahead and went with it. You got the stories like Ahab. You got all the stories in the scriptures that show you that. And the thing with Ahab, he repented every so often. He realized he was doing wrong. He repented. The Lord forgive him. And then what did he do? He eventually go back to simping. Eventually his wife allure him again. So he had some sense somewhat, but because he was so weak to that woman, it eventually led to his downfall. You know, even today, there's no actual proof of any man who elevates his woman above than what they are and actually prosper. They don't happen. Look what happened to Steve Harvey, the biggest simp out there, and he's doing it on purpose. He's doing it to keep his pockets fat, saying everything the woman needs there. What happened? Did that stop his wife from sleeping with his pool cleaner? That guy, there was a Christian pastor who married Megan Good, and he was saying the same old simp stuff like, oh, Eve didn't need Adam. Eve was doing all fine by herself until Adam came in her life and ruined, messed things up. Did that stop Megan Good from divorcing his ass? You see what I'm saying? It never prospers. But men will continue to fall into the cycle because it makes them feel good. That's idolatry in general. Right? So it goes on. Verse 17, it says, 16 again, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord Yahweh, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. And when we burnt incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we not make her cakes to worship her, and pour out her drinks offering unto her without our men? That's how you know it was primarily women that was responding. They said, look, even the men, our husbands was with us. And if you go to the, let's see, Queen of Heaven, the word there, Queen Malachath. Yeah, so the word Malach in the Hebrew is king. So to put the ath at the end is to feminize it. That's what queen comes from. But there's no such thing as a queen, right? Like I said, see, it comes from the root malak, which means a king. But in the nation of Israel, we had no such queen. Queens didn't exist. Those are the other nations, right? So I just Googled it, right? This is regarding the Queen of Heaven. This passage here, it says, okay, the top says who is the Queen of Heaven. It's from scriptures. It's about the Bible, but it says, it is unclear that the idea Ashtoreth, because that's what the Queen of Heaven goes back to. It all goes back to Ashtoreth when you do your research. I forget the other names for them, but it just goes back to a Canaanite god known as Ashtoreth. And I believe it's Canaanites that did that. We didn't cover so many times. It is what it is, okay? It says, it is unclear what the idea that Ashtoreth was a consort of Yahweh originated, but it's easy to see how the blending of paganism that exalts a goddess with the worship of the true King of Heaven, Yahweh, can lead to the combining of Yahweh and Ashtoreth. Exactly, and that's what man ultimately brought forth. Because men are weak to women, and a man saying, well, if there's a God, if there's a man in heaven, and there's got to be a woman in heaven. And that's why people worship what? Virgin Mary. You see, men are weak to women. Do anybody ever talk about exalt the father, Joseph? Why is there no worship of the father of Yahushua? Or even if they, because they believe immaculate conception, which is a bunch of BS, okay? Joseph was the biological father of Yahushua, the Messiah. He actually had sex with Mary, and the Lord was brought forth. We broke that down several times, but for the people who actually believe that she had sex with the angel Gabriel, right? And Joseph just came in to play stepfather. For the people who believe that, why is there no worship of Gabriel? With the father, you understand? They're always going to exit out the father and elevate the woman. And that's because the woman's going to push for that and the men is going to push for that too. So it's all about women worship. It goes back to the Queen of Heaven. And men want a man like him, he's offended at the fact that there's no woman in the heaven, that he can worship and bow down to. He wants to pray to the mother of heaven. Nothing about the father. He wants to pray to the woman because he's weak. Scripture tell you that Jacob is a mama's boy any damn way. Always up under his mama's titty. It goes on, it says, and since Ashtoreth worship involves sexuality, fertility rites, and temple prostitution, the resulting relationship to the depraved mind would naturally be one of a sexual nature. Exactly, because men crave all day, right, for some sex. So they look at them as like, oh, they must be the gods. And then they can easily be, like I said, to the depraved mind. They'll look at a woman and say, a woman brings forth children. She has to be the father, the creator. No, a woman merely carries an egg, okay? The actual sperm, the reason why you can buy chicken eggs now and they don't turn into no chickens, because they're not fertilized with sperm. What makes the chicken come to life is that it needs the sperm from the rooster or the male. That's what brings to life. Okay, when women do their little menstrual cycle, there's eggs leaving the body. It ain't bringing forth life because it requires a man to shoot his living sperm within him. The sperm is alive in the man. It's always alive. It's in the testicles. So all a woman is merely doing is carrying it. And it is a beautiful thing. That's why the Lord has it set up that way. But the weakness of men is to take that woman and elevate her higher than what she is. That's where the Queen of Heaven worship comes in. You got to be he's a weak man to actually sit up there and say, how come your guy doesn't have a wife? Because that's all he's thinking about all the day. He's like, he thinks woman equals power. Woman equals power over him. Women equals power over weak-minded men. It goes on, it says, clearly the idea of the Queen of Heaven as the consort of paramour of the King of Heaven is idolatrous and unbiblical. Exactly. He says, there is no queen of heaven. There has never been a queen of heaven. There is most certainly a king of heaven, the Lord of hosts. He alone rules in the heaven. Exactly. And when you are weak over that queen of heaven spirit, then you're going to say what it is you said. So the queen of heaven spirit goes back to deep in Israel. And it's still today. It's still today. Any Israelite, like I said, that has a problem with Great Millstone, and even you who's listening and you have a problem with Great Millstone, the issue that you have with Great Millstone all goes back to women. And you know it to be true. To show you how strong the Queen of Heaven spirit is, like I said, even Israelite groups say like IUIC, as much as they try to promote themselves as the prophets and they fancy all this and fancy all that, we're the real teachers of the Bible. But there's one law they'll stay away from, and that's that Deuteronomy 22 starting from 29. Why is that? Because it makes women uncomfortable. And since men are weak from women, they want to stem away from it too. And in order to please the woman, they just going to act like it's not there. And that's not them. It's all the Israelite groups that have a problem with that law. So do you see exactly how strong women are, which we're going to read? Do you see how weak men are to them? No matter a man's status or his kingship, like the brother even said, we're going to read, if there's always one creature that could bring a man to nothing or bring a man to naught, is going to be that creature that he fancies so much, which is the woman. That's why they're strong. It's not because, like, quote Captain Zariak, right, trying to say, well, the Bible says the next strong thing than the Most High is woman. Yeah, because men are weak to women. That's why. It's not because a woman is stronger than man. It's because men is the strongest creature on the earth. But because men are weak for women, men can then destroy one another because of that. Women take out more men than the plague every single day. All it takes, it could be a room full of women. All it takes is one woman to walk in the room for men to be up in arms at each other, with each other. That's all it takes is one woman. That's how strong they are. And it's not because they, you could say, are stronger in a sense or more wise or whatever. They just use the weakness of men to get their way. And if men are too weak for them, then men will go out of their way, destroy themselves just for one. That's why it is. That's why it says that they're strong. Because like I said, even today, here it is in the land of Israel, in the world of Israel, shall I say, as long as we've been in the truth, you got guys who claim they believe in the truth and knowledge, but they still will not face certain revelations of the scriptures because of their weakness for women. That's how strong they are. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands, and whoso pleadeth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this have I found, said the preacher, counting one by one to find the account. Yet which my soul seeketh, but I found not. One man among 1,000 have I found, a righteous man, right? But a woman among all those have I not found. Exactly. Lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And idolatry of Queen of Heaven, that's one of many inventions. You know, he says out of 1,000, he found none. You see, because, another secret that's in the scriptures that you find out that's revealed is that from the beginning, right, there's a creature, you know, all the creatures on the earth are tamed in some way. There was one creature that was never supposed to be loosed or free, because in doing so, that creature could single-handedly bring to the end of civilization. And that creature was the woman. In the law, the Heavenly Father was very strict in making sure that that woman remained tamed at all times. She has to be controlled. Because the moment she is loosed, that's the end of the world, really. Just like today, if you really look and examine the real reason this place is at an end, is because the woman was loosed. This whole kingdom is an experiment of everything that can go wrong. Esau, Edom, the devil being a power, and he loosed his fellow servant, all right, that woman right next to him. Those two alone brought to the end of the world, especially the woman being free. It led to the end of civilization, man. That's how strong she is. And most people won't see that or believe that. But it's the truth. It even tell you. Let me see. All right. Leviticus 19:29 says, "Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness." So the moment women become free to be whore and prostitute, the land falls into wickedness. How do you think that is? Because that's how strong they are. Look at America. Every woman you meet is basically a prostitute, a whore. They've all had multiple husbands. They believe in sleeping around. What happened to this place? Destruction. All right, everything's tainted. Nothing matters anymore. And it's all because, when you really stop and think about it, it's because this woman was made loose. She was never supposed to be loose. When the Lord established our order, you're supposed to be established with men who fear the Lord. The leadership is established with men who fear the Lord, and actually men, and we would keep women in check. Just like you have a fence or whatever to keep your animals in, all that. It was the men that kept the woman in check in the law of the Lord. Absolutely not was this woman ever supposed to be free the way she is, because the Lord knows how strong she is. That's why when you read the law of jealousies, which you could say was our own paternity test, right? What did we do? The Lord said, "You're going to come talk to me. If you think your woman stepped out, the spirit of jealousy come upon her, you got suspicions, guess what? You're going to come and talk to me." Why is that? Because would a man ever truly know? No. So does the Most High know that? Yes. So what did he say? You come talk to me directly, and you're going to get that answer. That's how much she had to be controlled. Now we in captivity, and we can't, guess what? We can't go to the Lord. You got paternity tests, DNA tests. Yeah, all that's all cool. But the real damage is because you got a lot of people who find it out right. A lot of men raising their children, trying to find out they ain't theirs. What goes through their mind is how long and how many times. He's going through his mind like how long. And that can end this whole world. You got men walk around today who don't even want to know, because it's going to crush their world. And you got men walk around today who will never know. They say things like, a woman goes to the grave with many secrets. Yeah, because she's the most wicked. Women and wickedness go hand in hand. So when we established, the Lord said, "You're going to come to me. I'm going to tell you directly. You ain't got to worry about and the reason that does better justice than a paternity test, because like I said, you just finding out about that child. You will never know if she truly stepped out on you. But and I'll tell you these guys right now, okay? For you men out there, you will never truly know everything your woman is doing or has done against you. You won't even know. You may be trying to figure out, you won't know. Okay? But in the ancient, you came to the Lord and you found out right away if she stepped out on you. Period. That's how serious it was. Because the Most High knows who he made. She was supposed to be under watch and controlled all at 100% of the time. And in this captivity, she was made free. Oh, that's the end of the world, baby. But this is Acts 17, verse 20. And like I said, it'll go over Israel's head. The Israelite groups in the other camps, they get mad. They'll just get mad at you because they look at women as creatures that could do no wrong, because they still had that Queen of Heaven spirit in them as well. You know, the moment because I had to do this, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, you heard the apostles talk about the women, especially the black woman. You know, I'm 20 or something, so, you know, naturally I think the same thing. Oh, they can't all be that bad, you know, it can't be that bad. So I decided to go out and I decided to prick brains too. Then you come to the conclusion, yep, they were right. And since we love women, okay, we want to love and care for women. Hell, you basically live your whole life for women, right? we want, as a man, we want to see them more than what they are, and we want to make them holy. We want to make them righteous. We want to make them respectful. We want to make them worthy creatures of praise because we love them and we weep for them. We want them to be these angels so we can feel good about loving them and taking care of them. That's why what do? We always turn in the other cheek and we let them get away with so much because we love them and we want them to be what we imagine them to be or want them to be. So a man to throw his whole life away, move in with a woman, give it all up, and he can't hear no rebuke, he can't hear no correction, he can't hear no warning because he just head over heels with his woman. He like, oh, I want to go all in. And in the end, he finds out that he made a mistake. He can't hear rebuke, he can't hear. So what do people got to ultimately learn? The hard way. So the moment I decided to not look at women as how I will want them to be because I'm just a man, and look at them for what they are, oh, then that's when you really come into the truth, man. You deal with the bitterness and you just accept they're not what I want them to be. They're just not. King Solomon just said it. His heart was seeking for, but out of 1,000 he found none. But it said what? 1 of 1,000. This is Acts 17, verse 24. This is just to show you that, look, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Yahushua, have no need of anything, man. Have no need of anything, okay? But just to reiterate that point again, for you men out there, I'm telling you, the day you accept, you should try it, okay? You should just do it, all right? The moment you stop looking at women for what you want them to be, which is these angels, that just have respect for you and appreciate everything you've ever done, and they're just the angels of the earth, they're just gentle, they're creatures that could do no wrong. The moment you stop looking at them for how you want them to be and just look at them for what they are and who they are, then you can manage a lot better. Right? When you understand their nature, when you understand them, then you understand why they do what they do, and then you can honestly love your wife accordingly. You can't go in blind. You may want to go in blind, but you have to go in knowing all the knowledge, man. That's how you can then love them better, because once you understand the creature itself, then you can understand that you really truly can't love them like you want. Take the rose-tinted glasses off and put on what my man say, from that they live. You're going to put on these glasses or you're going to be eating out of that trash can, so to speak. Put on the glasses, accept women for what they are, accept the truth for what it is, and your life will be much simpler. Don't be like these Israelite groups and these other camps, all right, who still have that weakness for them, that they're even perverting the truth for it. That's how strong they are, man. That's how strong they are, okay? But you have accounts in the scriptures like Ahab and, what's the brother name? Samson. You have those examples when you want to give them all and treat them all, and it's just going to hurt you in the end, man. But let's go on, man. Just to reiterate the point, man, the Lord has no need of anything. Acts 17:24 says, Yahweh that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth. He alone, you understand? Him and the Son. All right. It says, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with man's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life, breath, and all things. The Lord don't need anything. He gave us commandments to follow, like give us the best of your flock and to build a temple, etc. He gave us to that to worship him. But he doesn't actually need anything. And that's why that Jake doesn't get it. Because in his life, he says, I need a woman. In the flesh, men need women. So we looking at the Lord like, oh, he must need one, and he has to have one, because why doesn't he have one? Because I need one. Okay, yeah, because you're a man. Just because you need one doesn't mean that he doesn't need anything from us. All this is his creation. What the hell he need a woman for? He created the woman. What do you need a woman for? He's not flesh. In the flesh, women are needed to bring forth the seed of man. Yes. But in the spirit, the Lord creates. What do you need a woman for? You need a woman to counsel with. Yeah, come on, man. It's that Queen of Heaven spirit, man. It's just a young guy who's weak over women, and he just, because he has a computer and because he has a camera, he can just speak. And because he's weak over women, he's looking into the goddesses and the Ashtoreth. Oh wow. Oh man, just so beautiful. Oh man, our goddesses. What? That's what I want to worship. Yeah, because you ain't found your nuts yet. Lord has no need of anything, man. This is Psalms 50, verse 8. He says, I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock of thy house, nor the he goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. The Lord said, even if I was hungry, I ain't telling you, because everything's mine. Okay, he has no need of anything. There's nothing that the Lord lacks. You see, when a man doesn't have his woman, he feel that he lacks. And that's exactly how they view men who don't have women. Oh, yeah, that brother, he's over there suffering. He lacks. Why? Because men need women, right? So he looking at the Most High like, oh, he's lacking. You're crazy. Right? He says, will I eat the flesh of blood of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto Yahweh thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High. Exactly. That's why. So in the end, it's all about using your voice and your actions to just show your respect and reverence toward the Lord. Though he gave us the commandment to offer sacrifices, etc., he has no real need of any of those things. So you ain't hurting him by not offering, and not that. It just shows that you turned your back on him. That's what it showed. That's why in the end, what you really show your respect and what's really acceptable before him are your words and your actions, man. Your thought, your praise towards him. Because even Micah said the same thing. Okay. It's 6, Micah 6. That's what it is. Micah 6, he says, wherewith shall I come before the Lord Yahweh and bow myself before Yahweh? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings and cows of a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with 1,000s of rams, with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He hath showed me, O man, what is good and what the Lord Yahweh requireth thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with Yahweh. Yeah, so the 1,000, you can offer 1,000, it don't mean nothing. Do what I tell you to do. Be a father to the fatherless. Be a neighbor to your brother. See? Now, we don't, I have to say this because it could be taken the wrong way. We don't hate women, okay? We hate the wickedness of women. We hate what our women has become. But we don't have that Queen of Heaven spirit on us, so we're not, refrain from speaking things. And to you, it may seem like, oh, yeah, you must just hate women. Yeah, right. There's not a woman today that can come out and said that I ever treated her wrong. Yes, we love women, but we just deal with them accordingly. I love my mother, but I understand at the end of the day, she's still a woman. So there's certain things I know she's not going to meet or whatever, because I'm still commanded to anyway. You know what I'm saying? We done met a few sisters in the faith, and we treat them like family, like we're commanded to, like sisters, because that's how we treat them. But the truth is, they are not goddesses. They're princesses. They have the glory. The Lord's deal with women on a certain level. He referred to women as like wisdom, as a loving spirit. And you choose to, as a man, you make your wisdom your wife, treat her like your sister. That feminine love, right? Because he created both. But the sin comes when men, because they're weak for them, they elevate them higher than what they are. So when you come in and you put them on and you take them off that pedestal, then it's perceived as, oh, you must just hate women. No, you're just weak for them, and you're elevating them higher than what they are, and you're not supposed to do that. Our people been doing that. It's called the Queen of Heaven. We just read about it. First Ezra chapter 4, and we'll wrap it up. Just go to the point. It said women are the strongest, which Israelites clearly don't understand. Okay, when it says they're the strongest, it just means because men are weak for them. Men is the dominant creature on the earth. Okay, men go to war and all this other stuff, but because men are weak from women, they can cause a war. So in the sense, a woman can cause war. A woman can cause two men to be at each other with swords. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. First Ezra 4, verse 22. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. And yes, so women have dominion over ISUPK. Women have dominion over IUIC. They may say women have dominion over Sakari. They may say, no, it don't. We keep. Okay, well, let's go to the law. I want you to read. What does this mean?
Power off.
You know, oh, I'm not going to say that. It offends the sisters and other weak-minded like men. Okay, so women have dominion over you. Women is preventing you from speaking the truth. It goes on. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman? Yeah. Look, man, I was thinking about this the other day, how simple men are, okay? You give a man an apartment with a mattress and a TV stand, a table, and an ironing board. He's good. Right? He's good. The big house, all of that's for a woman. Because the moment you want a woman in, guess what she's going to do? She's going to bring all her stuff with her. The couches and the carpet and the blinds to match the carpet and the coffee machines and this for her dog and the house for the dog and this and that. So your whole house gets full of stuff because of her, and you do it because you want her to be happy. That's why you do it. So the big house, a man don't need no big ass mansion. He don't need it. He'll do it so that he could attract a woman to make the woman happy. You know what I'm saying? So men do, right? It says, yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal. 1 second. Slack about that. Keep going. It says, yea, a man take his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal and to sail upon the sea and upon the rivers and look upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than his father and mother. Yea, many, this is this guy, okay, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. And idolatry, Queen of Heaven spirit, all of that goes back to the same attitude, that same spirit. It's the reason why Jake today refused to acknowledge the truth of the scriptures today. That's how strong they are. It doesn't matter the status. It doesn't matter if they're the bishop, the priest, or whatever. You ask them to speak some truth about, and because men are weak for women, they're going to always, you can clearly see they're going to err. They're going to pervert the truth, pervert the doctrine, and say, no, that's not it. Because of the Queen of Heaven spirit. It's heavy amongst Israel. And in the kingdom, we're going to be righteous, and we're going to love one another once again. You know what I'm saying? But this place got to be destroyed. And like I told you, what you really find out, one of the secrets is the fact that women were loosed brought to the end of the world. They were never supposed to be loose. Okay, it's dangerous. All right, and it took men who feared the Lord to always keep them in check. And since the devil came in power, he loosed them, and this was why the world's going to end, man. That's simple. So no, they're not these angels that can do no wrong. Okay, they have to be watched. They have to be checked. Men love them. You could say to move forward our genes and all that. We do need them, yes. But when you elevate them higher than what they are, then that's going to cause you to sin, and that's going to cause you to end up either dead or in jail. Because that idolatry just stems from wanting to put a creation above, because you like the creation, you like it, and then you worship it like it's a god. And like I said, some people do that with dogs and cats. Some people do that with the sun. Some people do that with the moon. Some people do that with fucking water. You know what I'm saying? Romans 1. Verse 20. For the visible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that, when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and to four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Right? This is them changing the glory of the Lord to that which is a creation, basically, when he's highly above that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 25, 24. Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up for uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So you can love women, but you don't worship them. You can love dogs, you don't worship. You can love the sun, you can love the moon. You can love the creations for what they are, but you don't worship them. Many will be deceived by it. And the woman, being men's number one weakness, is always going to reach a level of, you could say, so-called of a pedestal, because men long for those. And because they're weak in their minds, right, they're going to instead elevate them to be a god or a goddess, to say, oh, you just as strong as a man, you stronger than a man, you are in the heavens, you create this, you create that. And that's what it causes people to go south. That's what things err. You know what I'm saying? But in the kingdom, everything's gonna be right though. But no, man, the Lord has no need of anything. He doesn't need. Let me read that in the NLT. That verse, Acts 17. 25. And humans can't serve his needs, for he has no needs. He himself gives life and breath to everything. He satisfied every need. Exactly. He satisfies our need. He don't need nothing, man. And and it's just like, you gotta have brothers who every now and then they may say, like, ask in the kingdom is Yahweh Shai, is he gonna have wife and kids? The true answer to that is that we don't know. I mean, you can speculate, yes, but the thing is, the Lord, he's on a different level. Okay, he actually doesn't have no need of everything. He owns all of us. All of this is creation. So it's hard to say. Men, we need women, right, and to have children and all that. But Yahweh Shai, they're on different levels, man. So that's why we just say, well, we'll see when we get in the kingdom. Hey, so with that, I say shalom.